Good day friends, welcome to the lecture series on Fundamental of Investment. In this subject of Fundamental of Investment, we are continuing with our lectures on fixed income securities. And in the topic of fixed income securities, in this lecture, I will be talking about risk associated in bonds. That is, what are the risks associated when you invest in bonds? Friends, as a common investor, as a bondholders, sometimes people assume that if they are investing in bonds, it is risk free, because in the bonds, company promises to pay the fixed interest at a particular period of time and pays redemption value after a period of time, that is, after the life of the bond, the redemption value is being paid. If a company issues 1,000 rupees bond at a coupon rate of 10% and the maturity period is 10 years, so it means on this 1,000 rupees bondholders will be getting 100 rupees in form of interest on an annual basis. I am presuming the interest is being paid annually, and after 10th year the company will be paying the redemption value of 1,000 rupees, which is the face value of the bond. So it means a common investor feels that there is no risk associated with the bond. But friends, in real life, every investment is subject to risk. No investment is risk free. The degree of risk may vary. Like if you compare it, if I generalize it, and if I compare with the equity shares, I'll say the risk in the bond is less as compared to equity shares. But within the category of the bonds, there are different types of bonds which are being issued. There are non-convertible bonds, there are convertible bonds, and there are various types of bonds. So different types of bonds have different element of risk involved. So what are these different element of risk involved in an investment of bond? That is the subject of discussion in this lecture to start with. Let me discuss one by one and make it clear how the risk is being associated with the investment of the bond. Like the first risk which I can talk of is interest rate risk. Friends, if I generalize it, I'll say there is an inverse relationship between the rate of interest and the bond prices. And bond and the debenture, word debenture will be used interchangeably. When the rate of interest increases, the bond price decreases. When the rate of interest decreases, the bond price increases. This is the general rule. How it happens? Friends, at the time of issue of the bond, company promises to pay a coupon rate. Suppose a bond of 1,000 rupees is being issued, face value is 1,000 rupees and a coupon rate is 8%. It means year after year, 80 rupees will be paid as interest on this bond of 1,000 rupees. But supposing the interest in the market after the issuance of the bond, the interest rate in the market rises. Say, interest rate rises from 8% to 10%. You as an investor, what you would like? You would like that on your investment, given other things remaining same, if you are investing in a bond, at least you should get 10% yield on your investment. So, company has promised to pay 80 rupees interest on a bond of 1,000 rupees, it means 880 rupees. But since the rate of interest has gone up from 8% to 10%, you would not like to invest in this bond at 1,000 rupees. You will be ready to pay the value which is equivalent to this 80 rupees is equivalent to 10% return. That is, you will be paying less than 1,000 rupees in this bond, for this bond. What it means is, if the interest has gone up, the value of the bond will come down, right? It will decrease. And reverse is the case. If interest rate falls, supposing the interest rate falls from 8% to 6% instead of 10%, right? So company at the time of issue of the bond, at that point of time of the issue of the bond, the prevailing rate of interest was 8%, right? So company issued the bonds at 8% interest. Now the rate of interest are falling and the market rate of interest is 6%. Investor would be ready to invest in that bond which gives him a yield of 6%. So for the same bond of 1,000 rupees, investor will be ready to pay more than 1,000 rupees, because every year the interest amount is fixed, 80 rupees. So this 80 rupees should be equivalent to 6% of his investment, which will be certainly the more than 1,000 rupees, right? So friends, what you have observed is that when you invest in a bond, there is an interest rate risk. That is, the price of the bond will fluctuate depending on the interest rate. If interest rate goes up, the price of the bond means the market price of the bond will come down. If the interest rate comes down, the market price of the bond will increase. So there will be fluctuation in the bond price. And mind it, if you held it up till the maturity, then there is no element of interest rate risk as far as the interest rate risk is concerned. But since the bonds are also being traded in the market, so bond prices will fluctuate depending on the prevailing rate of interest in the market. So we say there is always an element. Suppose I invest in a mutual fund which invests in bonds. I was, at the time of investment, I was presuming that since I'm investing in the bonds, so there is no risk at all associated. Whatever the amount I'm investing, I'm bound to get more than that, because every year the company will give interest on the bonds and my NAV, my net asset value of the investment on these bonds will go up. But supposing the market rate of interest increases, then the price at which you will have invested in that mutual fund and mutual fund in turn has invested in the bonds, certainly will come down. So the NAV, your net asset value of your investment, will come down, friends. So this is called interest rate risk. So a change in the interest rate causes a change in the bond prices in the opposite direction. There is an inverse relation between interest rate and bond prices. An increase in the interest rate will cause a fall in the bond prices and vice versa. When the interest rate rises, say, from 12% to 14%, then the existing bond carrying a fixed coupon becomes unattractive, because in the market new bonds are now available at a higher rate of interest of 14%. Earlier the company had issued the bond at 12%, but if the rate of interest has gone up from 12 to 14%, so the bonds are available at coupon rate of 14%. People would not like to invest in a bond which gives a return of 12%. Obviously the price will come down. So the resulting supply pressure on the bond carrying lower rate causes the bond prices to fall. And one more simple rule is, the longer the maturity period, greater is the risk involved, because for a longer period of time the risk of fluctuation in the rate of interest will be there. So longer the maturity period, greater is the risk associated with it, interest rate risk. The other type of risk that is associated with the investment in bonds is inflation risk. Friends, all of us know that inflation and value of money has inverse relationship. As inflation goes up, the value of money falls. And this is a general rule. So this arises due to change in inflation rate. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of money. What is value of money? Value of money means purchasing power of money. So inflation erodes the purchasing power of money. Since bonds carry fixed interest income that is not expected to increase in consonation with inflation, that is, it will not change with the change in the inflation rate, the bondholder's real income is the purchasing power from that bond keeps decreasing with every upward movement in the inflation rate. The longer the maturity period, the greater is the inflation risk. See, let me again take an example. Say 1000 rupees bond, coupon rate is 10%. It means the company will give 100 rupees interest during the life of the bond. Now inflation is taking place. Every year inflation is taking place at the rate of 6% per annum. So friends, in the first year, on this 1000 rupees bond, if you are getting 8% interest, that is 80 rupees. And during the year, if inflation takes place at the rate of 6%, will the purchasing power of the 80 rupees will be same that of the previous year? My answer is no. Because since the inflation has taken place, the value of this 80 rupees, because the company will pay a nominal amount of 80 rupees as interest year after year. But year after year, if inflation is on a continuous basis, the purchasing power of this 80 rupees will keep on falling. That is, the value of this 1000 rupees will keep on falling, right? So value, again I am saying value means the purchasing power of this 80 rupees. So when the inflation takes place, because of inflation, the value of your interest income, the real value I would say, will fall, and this is inflation rates. Not only the real value of your interest income, even at the time of redemption, the company promises to pay 1000 rupees, that is the par value of the bond. Life of the bond is say 6 years. After 6 years, company will be returning 1000 rupees. If the inflation persists at the rate of 6% per year, that is in a time span of the life of the bond, every year inflation takes place at the rate of 6%. So at the time of redemption, company will be giving you a nominal value of rupees 1000 which you had invested at the time of investment. Will the 1000 rupees which you will be getting after 6 years, will the value of this bond will be the same that is at the time which was there at the time of investment? Answer is no, because as I just said, inflation leads to the decrease in the value of the money, that is the purchasing power. So this is called, friends, inflation risk. Means inflation causes the erosion in the value of real interest income which we are getting, plus the real purchasing power of the redemption value. So this is called inflation. If higher is the rate of inflation, the higher is the risk associated with the investment in the bond. The third is called default or credit risk. What is default or credit risk? A company, when issues the bond, when an investor invests in the bond, I mean, it feels that at the time of investment, the investor has a feeling that the company will continue to pay interest income regularly, as well as it will pay the redemption value at the time of redemption without fail. But sometime it so happens that because of the financial condition of the company or because of the such circumstances arises, the company fails to pay its interest income on a regular basis. That is, company is not in a position to pay to the bondholders the interest income which the company has promised to pay. Suppose a company has issued bonds worth 10,000 crore rupees at 10% rate of interest. It means every year company will have to pay 1000 rupees as interest to the different bondholders, and some financial crisis arises to the company, right? The company comes into financial trouble. In that scenario, company will be finding itself in very difficult to pay this 1000 crore rupees interest, and company will be in default in paying the interest. Similarly, at the time of redemption, since the company has started facing the financial troubles and these financial problems keeps on accumulating, the interest burden keeps on accumulating. When the time of redemption comes, company again fails or is not in a position to pay its redemption value in time, right? Because at the time of issuance, this situation was not there with the company, or you was not having the feeling that the company will be facing these type of problems. So if this problem arises, this is called default risk or credit risk. So what it means is, default risk or credit risk means that company fails to pay its obligation in form of interest and redemption value. So it refers to the risk accruing from the fact that the borrower may not pay interest or the principal on time. Credit rating agencies, as you know, there are various credit rating agencies which are operating in India and internationally, right? ICRA, CARE, CRISIL, to name a few. Right? These are the rating agencies which are quite popular in India. So these credit rating agencies rate these companies. Financial rating of these bonds is being made by these companies. So credit rating agency assigns ratings to debt instruments of financial institutions and companies. Friends, whenever you invest in a bond, you see to it that what is the credit rating of the company, and say for example AAA rated. AAA rated companies are those companies which are considered as highly safe investments, right? So AA, AAA, BBB, BB, depending on rating agencies, right? Depending on ratings. So credit rating agency assign ratings to debt instruments of financial institutions and companies. Other things being equal, in general, bonds with higher default risk trade at a higher YTM. Higher YTM means they are being traded at a lower price than its face value, so yield to maturity will increase. The other type of risk associated is called call risk. Friends, when I was talking of in my previous lectures, when I was talking of different types of bond, I said there are callable bonds, there are puttable bonds. What is callable bonds? Callable bonds are those bonds which can be redeemed at the option of the company after a period of time. Say a company has issued bond for 8 years and it keeps a call option that after 3 years, any time after 3 years, company has an option to pay back to the bondholders. That is, whatever the price of the bond is, it will pay back. It will not continue with the bond. When the company will exercise this option, suppose the rate of interest starts falling in the market. In that situation, company feels that why to pay higher rate of interest to the bondholders? Let's redeem these bonds. Redeem means pay back to these bonds, and let's get the new money at a lesser rate of interest. So the company, by the terms and condition, can exercise this option of redeeming the bonds after a fixed maturity period, after a fixed period. That is called call option. In that case, friends, the bondholder will be at losing end. Like say for example, a company has issued 8% bond for 8 years. 1000 rupees bond at 8% rate of interest. It means the company promises to pay 80 rupees interest for 8 years, and after 8 years it will redeem the money. And it keeps a call option after 3 years. That is, after 3 years, if company so desire, it can pay back the money. And in the market, rate of interest starts falling. Now the present at the end of the third year, when the time of the call option, time of exercising the call option comes, if supposing the market rate of interest is say 5%, company may feel that why to continue a fixed liability of 8%? Why not redeem this money and get the money from the market at 5%? So in that scenario, company may exercise this call option. So bondholder has a risk that the benefit which the bondholders could have got if the bond continues and bondholders continues to enjoy the interest income of 8%, it will be losing that interest income, right? And it will be, the money will be paid back. So at the time of reinvestment, the bondholders will be having the option of investing only at 5%. So this is a risk that if the company wants, company may pay back the money before the maturity period. This is called call risk. So this arises on bonds with call option. A callable bond is one which the issuer has a right to redeem the bond prior to maturity. This right is exercised by the issuer when the market interest falls below the coupon rate on the callable bonds. As I was saying, the coupon rate is 8%. Supposing the rate of interest falls to 5%, in that case, company may, I'm using the word may because it is up to the company. A company has a call option. Company, if so desires, can exercise the right of redeeming the money, right? So this is called call risk. So in such a situation, the investor loses out the opportunity of remaining invested in a bond with a higher coupon rate and might not find a comparable investment revenue. Means after 3 years, when the company redeems the money, the bondholder will not have the option to invest with the same 8% interest, because the present market rate of interest is 5%. This is called call risk. The other is called liquidity risk, right? What is liquidity risk? Liquidity risk means that when you invest in any investment, one of the feature of the investment which you want is that this investment should be liquid, that any time when you are in need of money, you can get the money, you can convert that financial asset into cash, which is considered as perfectly liquid asset, right? In a country like India, the corporate bonds means the bonds which are being issued by the companies, they are not as liquid as the equity shares of a good companies are, right? So there is an element of risk that if you want to sell this in the market, you may find the buyer, you may not find the buyer. This is called liquidity risk. Again, let me see, cash is considered as perfectly liquid. And one of the feature of investment, I will say, that whenever you make the investment, you want that your financial asset should be convertible into liquid, that is in cash form, with minimum of hassle and minimum of fluctuation of rate, right? This you want. So, but this on the investment of bonds, sometime you find that you want to sell this bond, but there is no buyer in the market, or if at all the buyer is available, the buyer is not giving you the right price. So this is called liquidity risk. So corporate bonds do not command a ready market at all times and therefore are subject to liquidity risk. It refers to the risk that the investor will not be able to dispose of their bonds when they are in the need of money. So friends, these are the different types of risk associated with a bond. After talking of the different type of risk, let me talk one more dimension of the bonds, that is interaction between bond value, market interest rate and time to maturity. So let us first discuss relationship between bond value and interest rate or required rate of return. Friends, when I was talking of different risk associated with bond, just now in this very lecture, I was talking of that interest rate and bond prices has inverse relationship. When rate of interest goes up, bond prices falls and vice versa. So interest rate or required rate of return is used to calculate the present value of the cash flows from the bond. Higher the required rate of return, lower is the value of the bond. There is an inverse relationship between bond value and market interest rate, right? So here you can see on this graph that what is happening is, when the interest rate goes up, means there is on x-axis we are showing interest rate and on the y-axis we are showing bond value, right? What you find is, when interest rates are low, bond value is high. As the rate of interest increases, means the rate of interest moves on the rightward side. On the x-axis we are showing rate of interest. As the rate of interest starts increasing, the bond value starts falling, right? So what is here is that there is a convex relationship, right? The curve which you are referring to here is, it is a convex curve, right? So what you are seeing is convex to the x-axis, that is, as the rate of interest are falling, the bond value are increasing and vice versa. If when the rate of interest increases, the bond prices falls. Similarly, lastly, let me tell you interaction between coupon rate, required rate of return and bond value. If required rate of return is same as the coupon rate, then the bond value will be equal to the face value. Supposing a company issues a 10% coupon rate bond and my required rate is also 10%, so I'll be ready to pay the face value of the bond, that is the bond price, and the price of the bond will be bond price, and the current market price at which I am ready to buy will be the same. But if the required rate of return is higher than the coupon rate, then the value of the bond will be lower than its face value. Means I will buy this bond at a discounted price that of its face value. Reverse will be the case if the required rate of return is lower than the coupon rate. Means the coupon rate is 8% and the required rate of return is suppose 6%. Then the value of the bond will be higher than its face value. Means I will be ready to pay a premium price than of its face value. So this is the friends relationship between the coupon rate, required rate of return and bond value. So friends, in this very lecture we have talked about the different types of risk that is associated with the bond, that is the interest rate risk, default risk, liquidity risk and other risks which are associated with bond. And finally we talked about the rate of relationship between the interest rate and the bond value and the interaction between coupon rate, required rate and the bond value. Thank you very much. We will continue our discussion on fixed income securities in my next lecture. Thank you.